We had a really bad CPI read earlier today, and the markets are spiking. We actually fell down 3% on a lot of the major indexes when it happened, and now we're back up to about 4% above where we dropped down to earlier. So what is happening right now, and what do the greats say to do right now when investing? Are they going cash? Are they dumping money into the market? I want to talk to you about it. Now, I do want to thank Biswap. You can check them out underneath the video. You can skip around as well if you want to see different parts of the video, but let's get into it. So moomoo shows that we are up 2% on the NASDAQ, 2.4% on the S&P 500, and 2.7% on the Dow, as everything's climbing on a day that we got pretty negative inflation rates, and negative, like, not good news. So you can see here that we got 8.2%. We were expecting 8.1% this month, and we came in hotter than expected. On the core, we actually saw, it's not on this chart yet, but we saw 6.6%, the highest that we've seen on core. Now, I do want to say I made a video earlier today talking about how this was a disaster. This is really negative because of the fact that inflation's coming down so much slower than people were expecting, even with the Fed raising rates. But in that video, I talked about how I was not selling. And it sounds kind of weird because, in the back of your head, you're always thinking, okay, I had the news that came out before the market opens. The market will probably dump as soon as it opens. There's a small part of you that says, maybe I should just sell some, right? You should just sell a little bit because it's obvious that the market's going to go down. Yet, it is not going down today. We are seeing a big pump. Now, I do want to apologize. Earlier in the video, people were talking about how I sounded like I'm not a morning person. I'm going through something with my throat right now. So if my voice is lower than expected, lower than usual, that's why. If you're wondering why I sound weird. So what happened today was we pretty much locked in the fact that we're getting 75 basis points at the next Fed meeting. So yesterday we had a 20% chance of a 50 basis point hike. Now we have a 97% chance, but we also have a 3% chance at 100 basis points. So there's a little bit of a chance that we actually are going to see worse than we expected, and it pretty much locks in what we were expecting. Now, you would think that that would cause the market to drop pretty quickly, and we saw a spike in the DXY where it went up to 114, but slowly falling throughout the day. We also saw the 10-year Treasury go up to about 4%. Now it's back down to 3.91%. Now, I think there are a couple different reasons that this could be happening. And of course, it's kind of a fool's errand to try to figure out what's happening every single day of the market. But I think there are two things. Basically, we could have had a lot of shorts or put buyers that had gotten ready and now they had to cover, and then we had the dip buyers as well this morning. So it was just kind of the perfect storm where people were expecting the CPI to be bad. They made a lot of money, they sold or bought back, and then they were able to cash in a lot while dip buyers came in. We could also have this be going up because of the fact that we actually are seeing CPI fall down. Now, not the core CPI, we're seeing that go up, but we are seeing the headline CPI continue to fall down for the fourth month in a row. And it kind of locks in the fact that we have hit peak CPI and we are starting to see it come down slowly. Could also be for the fact that we are delayed about 12 months or so in our rate increases. So it will take time to work through the economy. We are starting to see certain things kind of crack, and that probably will bring down the CPI over time. Now, I do want to thank Biswap, but then I want to talk to you about what is the best thing to do in this market, because there are some interesting things happening and some things that you have to be paying attention to, including what some of the great investors are doing. Now, before we go any further, I want to talk to you about Biswap. Biswap is a great DEX on BNB chain and has one of the lowest fees in DeFi with just 0.2%. They're actually really well known with 320,000 followers on Twitter, including KuCoin and Binance. And they just announced a multi-reward pool program. Basically, you stake your BSW and you trade with some different pairs on Biswap. And what you can do is you can get BSW, Wrap BNB, and BUSD. I'll leave more links to this underneath the video too so that you can learn more about this. But this has a really high APY. You can also invite friends. You can get your referral link, invite the friends, and then earn crypto depending on what they earned and what they swap on Biswap. Now, they have a couple cool initiatives going right now. They have a $10 million global incentive program, basically allowing
projects to take part in this, and being able to get up to 100% fee reimbursement for distribution options, including buybacks, burns, promos, liquidity supplies. You can use it depending on what you want. 75% of fees as a liquidity provider you can earn, and you can even get direct contact with the Biswap team, which has been really successful. They also have something for retail investors where you can make up to $1,500 in BSW. So basically taking a picture of merch or the Biswap DEX website. And there are a couple different things you have to do. I'll leave a link to this underneath the video, but follow Biswap, Telegram, and chat. Tweet a photo of the Biswap website or merch with a nice background using the Biswap Global Hike hashtag and BEP20 wallet, and fill out the form that's on this webpage. So definitely use the links underneath the video to learn more, and use my link to get up to 50% fee returns on Biswap. Special thanks to Biswap for being a partner of the channel, and let's get back to it.
So on that video this morning, I had someone comment, I knew it was going to be a disaster. Honestly, it will get worse, especially now that gas is going back up. No hope at this point. Now, I thought this was pretty interesting when I saw this. Whenever anyone says that there's no hope or that the market can only go up, I kind of think that we've hit an inflection. Now, I could always be wrong, right? Not necessarily that we're hitting an inflection right now in the market, but that gives me hope that the opposite is happening of whatever they say. Whenever people feel like there's no hope, that's usually a good time to be buying. And that's what some large investors, some really well-known investors have been doing. Let's look at Berkshire Hathaway. They had $147 billion of cash at the end of 2021. The last report, they spent $41 billion. They've been buying assets. And Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. When I think about some of the best times to be buying stocks and cryptocurrencies, when are the best times? Well, it's not when the markets are going up and everyone's making money. The best times to be buying are when it seems like there's no hope. And if you go back to 2008, right, or 2000, of course, maybe after the market fell down 30 or 40%, maybe that was a bad time to be buying, right? Maybe you could have bought a couple days later, a couple days earlier, and you could make a couple extra percentage. But do you think now, sitting in 2020, anyone's upset that they bought a week too early, that they didn't hit bottom of a certain stock? No, they're just happy that they were funneling money and funneling pretty aggressively. And that's how I feel about this market. You can try to time it. You can try to get in and out on specific days, but then there are things like this that happen where the market got really negative news and yet it's up a couple percent. It's really hard to play this game on a day in and day out basis, trying to figure out why the market's doing what it's going to do, figuring out what's going to come out of all these different news pieces. A lot of the time, it's just better to be adding to your assets because it does look really dark right now. Like today, I thought, wow, this is really where we see a change in momentum. And I thought this might be the end of the soft landing, or the end of people thinking that we might actually have inflation come down before the end of the year, and pretty aggressively. We might not be seeing that as much as some people were expecting, where the Fed starts raising only by 50 or 25 basis points. We might just have to continue to raise aggressively. But the market prices that in, right? The market priced in the fact that we are expecting 75 basis points and that we might see 100 basis points. So the market always thinks in probabilities. So while there might be more negative news that comes out, the market might still continue to rally a bit, thinking that we're getting closer and closer to the end, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how the year ends and what comes out of the next couple Fed meetings. But we do have earnings coming up here very soon that should be indicative of the economy and inflation as well. Now, let me know your thoughts about this underneath the video. Definitely check out Biswap. And if you want some free stocks, you can check out moomoo, up to 15 free stocks when you start depositing. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.